What's going on, guys? It's Mike Ferrante here, and I am super excited to come to you guys with this new video. I put out a tweet yesterday. You can see it on the screen here. I'll just go through it real quick. I said it's the year 2035. Billion-dollar businesses are being built by a single founder and zero employees. Just tons of AI agents working 24/7, 365. The future isn't coming. It's here now. So this tweet talks about my outlook and my vision for just business as a whole moving forward with AI, because obviously business is going to have to adapt with AI. Nothing stays stagnant, and in a world like business where more and more of these companies are learning how to use these tools, and not even just learning how to use these tools, it's getting so much easier to use these tools. This sector of AI is going to be crucial to every single successful business within the next 5 to 10 years. So my vision for this is think Apple, think Microsoft, think Google, companies that are multinational, billion, even trillion-dollar companies that have hundreds of thousands of employees. Now think about the future outlook of that. Why would we need to pay 100,000 people salaries of $70,000 plus when they can't even work all hours of the day? So they need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to exercise, they need to see their families. Their output is not on max. And B, they're distracted. We live in a world of pure distraction. There's instant gratification everywhere. The perfect example for this, I would say, is the little computers we have in our pockets, also known as smartphones. These things are the death of our attention span. Humans in 2025 have a shorter average attention span than a goldfish. The little thing that swims around the tank, a goldfish. We have shorter attention spans than them. And why is that, you may ask? I would say it's pretty obvious. We get instant dopamine from scrolling. We can open our phone, go on TikTok, go on Instagram, and an hour goes by and it was like, that was an hour? We don't even know. We can't even comprehend it. And the point I'm trying to make here is these AI agents can be so powerful for companies and businesses alike because they don't get distracted. They don't have TikTok and have this instant gratification already programmed into their mind. They have a task, they have a set of tasks, and they perform those tasks over and over and over again. And the best part is 24/7, 365. There's no Christmas for them. There's no New Year's for them. There's no special holidays for them. Their job is to work, and they don't get tired doing so. So my vision is, I think that there's going to be, instead of a company like Apple that has, a big board, a CEO, founder, and all these employees, why can't Apple run with 100,000 AI agents or even 1,000,000 AI agents that each have a little specific task that the employees do right now? And I think that's totally feasible. GPT Operator just came out, $200 a month. It can now perform somewhat autonomous tasks on your computer. You still need to go in and approve the step and say that you want to proceed. But the fact that there's already tools like this out and tools coming out every day like this just shows that these AI agents are going to be so powerful in a short amount of time. So if you don't capitalize on this now, you are going to fall behind. And I think that the future looks bleak for a lot of people in these industries, because why would a company need to now pay, say in investment banking, why would you need to pay an analyst $150,000 first year when an AI agent could do their job better, doesn't get tired, doesn't require as much pay? It's simple. It's really simple to me. So I actually mapped this all out on Miro. So I have the full flow and full process and really the outlook of what I believe the future of AI is in terms of in business and more specifically in SaaS. So the reason I would say it's a little different for manufacturing is because if you think about manufacturing, you have a warehouse, you have distribution centers, you still need manpower to run those things. And I'm not saying robots won't be a thing one day, because I definitely think they will. But I think that is a very much more increased cost because it's the actual software and it's an actual thing that you're building rather than a program you're running on your computer. And I think that robots will be something further down the line. Like in my tweet, let's go back to this. I said 2035. I don't think by 2035 we'll have full service companies that are running just with robots, because I think it's a lot less feasible. And that's why this is going to apply to SaaS only, but there are still a lot of aspects of this that could apply to a physical labor type business where you need manpower right now. So if I'm just going over a very high level flow, not getting into too much detail about a SaaS product, I would say there's really 4 main steps and then launch. So I would say 5. There's idea generation. You need to come up with an idea, a pain point, a problem, and a customer persona, and you need to solve that pain and problem for that said customer. So if I'm giving the example of the app that I'm currently building, it's called SA Plus. And with me being a student, I would say I definitely do look to AI to sometimes grade a paper or offer me insight. And what I did notice a lot of the time was it wasn't really specific. So I would say grade my essay, and a lot of the times it would just say, yeah, it's good, your thesis is good, you have this many body paragraphs, this many words, and it gave a very high level, not detailed at all analysis of my essay. And the only way you can get a detailed analysis is if you prompt it like 50 times and you say, can you grade it like a high school teacher? Then you got to put in your own criteria, and it's just like no one has time for that. I want it done for me. So that's the problem that my tool solves. My app, SA Plus, is solving that issue in that it's a model that's already trained on 10,000 plus essays and specific criteria for the program to actually grade on. So we have built in, it's thousands of lines of you need to grade exactly like this. This is an example of a good thesis because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is the example of a bad thesis because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it really has a lot of information that traditional models don't have, and that's where I think we separate ourselves. Beside the fact that it's so cheap, we use the DeepSeek R1 model, which thinks. It doesn't just output your analysis, it thinks for 45 seconds before it even says anything. So it's thinking deeply about every sentence, every word, every subject verb agreement, every thesis, everything. And yeah, so that's the premises of my app, and that's where it flows with the idea generation in terms of I identified a pain point. I kind of scratched my own itch because this was a pain point for me. I have a lot of papers for my classes, so I scratched my own itch, came up with a solution, and we're going to ship the solution by next Sunday. That's the launch date for the MVP, so I'm really excited for that. Stay tuned. But after the idea is generated and you have a concrete understanding of what you're trying to solve and how you're going to solve it, that's when you move on to the planning and architecture. So this is where your key planning documents are created. So like the product requirements document, customer journey document, schema design, like UI UX, just a bunch of different things. You could really get like really deep on this, like 100 documents, which I personally am not a fan of. I prefer simplicity and just having a lower number of things but higher quality rather than having 100 different documents. And let's be real, if you have 100 different documents, they're probably going to contradict themselves. But we have our idea, we planned it out, now we got to design. So we need to design, okay, what does the customer journey look like? When they click on the app, what's immediately popping out to them? What is going to distract them? What colors work? What's a good hover transition on this button? What's going to really get them engaged and get them to stay on our site? Because the longer someone stays on our site, the higher chance we have to actually convert them. It's just simple math, you know? And I would say that after this design step is really where the technical side of the app is being built. And I think this is probably the hardest part, which is the development. And I think this is going to be one of the hardest parts to actually make fully autonomous with AI, because as you know, with these current agents, it's you have to give it a specific task, and based off that specific task, it will perform something. So like a good example of it would be go to Amazon.com and buy me Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you tell it that and you provide it your login details, it will purchase the book for you because it has a series of steps. It has a URL, login, where to click, what to search up, and it's readily available to the AI. But with something like coding, which you need to test out different features, it's a little bit harder to tell an AI, hey, build out this feature for me. So if I'm going back to my essay analysis tool, Essay Plus, a core feature is we need to let a user input a prompt and an essay, click analyze, and a bunch of feedback and a score is going to pop up. How do you really tell an AI to do that? Because what if, I'm using Cursor AI by the way, what if it puts that into Cursor? So you tell it to prompt the AI, it puts it into Cursor, and then the feature doesn't work. We need some built-in testing for that. So this is where I think that this could be one of the biggest roadblocks in the fully 100% autonomous AI app building is concerned. But I still think it's possible, because I think if you could solve 95% of it, that automatically reduces my workload by so much. And I go from developer, designer, 12 hours of deep work a day to a manager and simply just managing the AI. So after these 4 steps are done, we're going into our launch. And after launch, obviously, you know, we need 3 more agents. So after launch, I would say the 3 biggest things that we need are sales. We need to be sending consistent emails out. We need to be posting online, which goes into marketing, but I think the 2 are very closely related. And we need to sell our product to the consumer base that is our target persona, the people that we are targeting. So in my case, it's going to be college students, Gen Z. So you got to ask yourself, where is Gen Z? TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and you have to really leverage that, but that can be fully automated with AI. Same with marketing. You can now get UGC AI creators to make posts for you. You could schedule those posts with AI, and now you have a full service content team for $20 that's automatically just pumping out content for you. And the last one, which I think is the most obvious, and there's already tools that do this, is customer support. If you put a simple chatbot on your website that can handle basic customer queries, it can chat with them, it can send the queries to your email so you can review them if there's something extreme, that saves 99% of your time, which what founder wants to sit for 2 hours a day responding to customer queries? It's not efficient. It really just isn't. But imagine if you had an AI do it for you, and then the AI just sent you one report at the end of each day saying, hey, Mike, there were 100 queries about your pricing page being broken. You should probably fix this. And then instead of me sitting, typing back, emailing all these people, all 100 for hours, I just have a simple report created like that, and I didn't really have to do much work. So what's the result of this? Billion-dollar companies run with 1 founder and 0 employees. And I'm saying 0 physical, like human employees. Obviously, if you're going to consider an AI agent an employee, I wouldn't blame you, because I think there's a fair argument to be made. If it's doing tasks for you 24/7, it is pretty much an employee. But that's basically the high-level overview of the whole flow and process. So now I'm going to dive deep into each specific pillar and each specific step to really talk about what the agent flow would look like from a more detailed perspective. So if we come all the way back to idea generation, I think there could be a basic 5-step flow in which the AI could basically fully autonomously run your idea generation. So step 1 would be market research. This could be done strictly with ChatGPT, Twitter, Hacker News, Reddit, all of these, Product Hunt, all of these different these vehicles. And I think an AI could 100% do this. If you come up with a flow that's detailed with specific prompts, 50 to 100 steps that they have to go through, an AI could research the market for you and create a report for you. So you probably noticed that I've said report a bunch of times, and I think this is very important. I think that a lot of this future with AI and with these autonomous AI agents is going to have to do with reports. It's going to be the agent performs a task, they create a report for you, the report is sent to you, and then my job now as the business owner, as the founder, is to approve that report and say, okay, you did your market research, you have a good foundation of what's trending, what markets are good that haven't been hit yet, good pain points, you can move on to the next step. So it's like a flow with, there is a bottleneck obviously because I have to approve everything, and maybe down the line that won't be the case and there will be AI managers, which is just an even crazier thing to get into, and we could probably talk about that for hours. But we're going to focus on this and the fact that these solopreneurs like me, like you who's probably watching the video, we spend so much time on stupid stuff that take away from the core value and core service that we're offering. If you're breaking down SaaS into a high level overview, it really is just getting that product to the market, because nobody wants to spend 3 months making a product that has zero demand. Like I said before, marketing is so important. Your actual product does not matter as much as you think. I can build the best product ever. I can build a product that gets someone 5 Bitcoins every second. You sign up for my service, you get 5 Bitcoins every second. But if I don't market the product, nobody's going to use it. How would they know that it exists? So I think that this pillar is so important, and that's why, like I said before, I think idea generation is one of the most important things, because if you can find a niche that's not saturated and that has real pain, you will be able to make an egregious amount of money. So that brings me into the second point. I really kind of discussed a lot of these in that first sort of rant. I like to ramble a lot if you haven't noticed yet. But yeah, now you have to identify pain points. So did our research. I would say pain points is included in that research, but the pain points are so important because this is what your copy is going to look like. If this person is struggling with back pain, for example, this is a physical product example, I know, but back pain, your headline on your site needs to have something to do with back pain. We relieve back pain. Anything simple like that. And in your ads, you have to be saying the same message because you need to resonate with them. So identifying the pain points is super important. And like I said with market research, AI can do this too. There's AI survey tools now. Like ChatGPT and Perplexity are so powerful with searching the web. Even DeepSeek R1, they're so powerful that pain points are not as hard to find as people think. And I see common objections from people on Twitter a lot of the time with market research saying it takes so long. I'm under the philosophy that you can automate this pretty easily. For my essay tool, for example, it was a 3-prompt process for me to find the idea. I said, give me pain points that students are facing every day. Just a pain point that students are facing. It gave me 50. I said, second prompt, come up with 3 solutions now for each pain point. After I had 3 solutions for each pain point, that's 150 solutions total in 2 prompts. And then my third prompt was, give me a software business idea based off each 150. I generated 150 business ideas on real pain points in 3 prompts, which probably took me 5 minutes. So the way I'm thinking about this and the way I'm trying to get you to think is, imagine how powerful it could be with a 100-step flow that you feed an AI, that they need to perform X first, Y second, Z third, and keep going with specific prompts, specific queries, specific information that's going to go straight to you in that document that is going to be emailed to you. This is where I think this can be so damn powerful. So flowing into step 3, after that's approved, we're going to do competitor analysis. This goes hand in hand with the other 2. We can use AI tools to find competitors. Who are the biggest companies doing this? What are their websites? Analyze their websites and write down their copy. What are they pitching people on? What is their USP? All of that stuff. It is quite easy. Then we want to create our customer persona. So this is who would be the ideal person to use our product. So with my example in the essay, I would say it's a 19-year-old kid who feels a little lost in writing. He gets stuck and he just wants a tool to help him identify where his weaknesses are in his writing, where he can improve his essays and just get better grades, because who does not want better grades? Everyone wants better grades. And then lastly, which flows from here to there, is create documents. So there's specific documents for this. I would say there is a customer persona document, which is very detailed with step-by-step specifics about the target customer that you're trying to reach with the product. There's a competitor document that you can feed into. My point with these documents, you can feed them all into Cursor and just give him just more and more information for him to help you with the development, which, like I said before, was, in my opinion, the hardest step in terms of making it fully autonomous. So these documents make this easier. So this is why this is so important. And then at the end, we have a human check. So we're going to get all of the information that was given to us, and we're going to just verify. We're going to go over it. We're going to get a detailed report, and we're going to say, I like this app idea. I think this solves a genuine problem. Move on to number 2. So planning and architecture is next. And by the way, before I get into this can either be done with 1 agent, 2 agents, 5 agents, 50 agents. It doesn't matter. The power in this, though, is I think the more agents, the better, because say market research has 10 steps that you need for it. Imagine if you had 10 different agents and they each had specific detailed prompts for each step, and they constantly were learning and evolving just based off that one thing. They didn't focus on anything else. So that's where I think if you have more agents, you're going to be more powerful, because each agent does a more specific task and is not as general as just I have one idea generation agent. So moving into planning and architecture, this really only has like one step, and it's just to create the key documents. So notice how I said key. I'm not saying these aren't key, but it's different. This is more product requirements document, schema design, like the customer journey document, all of that stuff. And I think this is super duper important, because with my experience coding with Cursor, the more detail you give it, usually the better. If you just tell it to build you an essay analyzer app, it can probably build a pretty decent essay analyzer app, but it's going to add a bunch of unnecessary code that takes away from your focus and takes away from the core functionality. And the worst part is it's going to take longer to ship. And like I said before, us solopreneurs, we want to ship lean, we want to ship fast. And yeah, that not as much detail and direction definitely makes it so you're not going to ship as fast. So once these key documents are created, which can, like I said before, be either done with 1 agent, 10 agents, 100 agents, we're going to add all of this stuff to our Google Drive. So all of these documents and all of these documents will be in our Google Drive in a specific business folder for that business. So end of this step, when we approve, we should have 15 documents plus in this Google Drive that are specific to our business that all flow in with each other. So we're just giving Cursor more context and letting our business be that more specific. So now we move in to design. And design is super important because, people say never judge a book by its cover, but the reality is a lot of people do judge books by their cover. So if I have the best chatbot app ever, but it looks like a bullshit HTML page that looks like a little kid made it in 2 seconds, I'm not going to get as many users versus if I have a modern, clean landing page with good copy. So like I said, it's the thing with SaaS that makes it such a hard business to actually crack is that we need all of these steps to flow into each other, and we can't really have any points being held down, because you can have a great idea, great planning and architecture, but if your design, like I said, looks like a 5-year-old scribbled with crayons on an HTML page, people are just going to navigate off. They're going to think it's a scam. So we need everything to hold up to a specific standard, and that's where I think AI can just be so valuable, because AI is not lazy. They will work hard. They will output good quality things. Granted, you need to know how to prompt it, and you have to give it good instruction and direction, but AI is not just going to stop in the middle of a task and get lazy. They're going to go until they reached all of the specific things you want. And a good thing about this is you are the mastermind and the designer behind it. If you want a 500-step flow on design, you can do it. If you want a 1-step flow, you can do it. It's really all about the prompting at the base level that is going to make this AI better. The best example I've heard about this with Cursor is, if you're a senior software developer, you are going to be able to build a better app with Cursor than if you're someone that has zero coding experience. And you might say, hey, Mike, that's obvious, but I don't think a lot of people think that way. A lot of people think, oh, to build an app now, all I really need to do is prompt the AI and tell it the features I want. But when Cursor is going in circles and it keeps running into a bug and it can't solve it, we need, it's going to be a lot easier for someone who has 20 years of experience to figure out where the issue is and actually point it in the right direction than someone that has no experience. The person with no experience is going to be prompting for hours, not getting anywhere. So in design, we have a few things. So we have user flow mapping, wireframing, skeleton design, and then we need to feed this stuff to Cursor. And the stuff we're feeding to Cursor isn't just this. The stuff we're feeding to Cursor is also this, because these documents are just so crucial. So agents could do all of this. User flow mapping, these agents in the design stage are going to be fed these documents as well, because we're not in Cursor yet. We're still in the design stage. And these agents, since they're fully autonomous, will be able to go to apps like Figma, VO, Lovable, and they'll be able to build out clean outlines, wireframes showing customer journey and the user journey from going on the landing page to hopefully converting. And that's another area where I think the flow really just becomes apparent to you when you think about it, because I didn't really connect these, but this connects directly into this, because I do my human check. I have all the documents now. The documents are now moving on to the next step in the pipeline. This pipeline happens now. We add the stuff to Google Drive. This agent now, let's call him the design agent, he now has access to the Google Drive. And now he bases his design based off the Google Drive, because we don't want the design agent or any of these agents not to be connected, because that's where sometimes AI starts to go off the path and it doesn't have structure. It doesn't have someone telling it what to do. And then that's when it will do something stupid that's not intended. So this stuff all flows together. I know you see these lines, but to make it even clearer, these lines, this flows into this flows into this. The design for sure flows into Cursor, and as you can see in step 4, we're feeding all of this into Cursor. So we're going here, and now we're on development. So like I said before, development is so important for building your app, because this is the core functionality. I know I've stressed this so many times, but no part in the process can be messed up for your app to succeed. And the fact that hopefully at this point we have an app that's well designed, well planned, and solves a clear problem, we still need a good core functionality of the app and good features, so that the users are actually able to have their problems solved. Because we know how to solve the problem, but now it's about connecting knowing how to solve the problem into features that genuinely help them and are efficient to solve the problem. So I like to break down development into front end and back end, because those are obviously the two parts of development. So If you're new to development, which I would assume you're not if you clicked on this video, front end development is the user experience, the functionality on the front end. So what the user sees. So this board right here on Miro, this is the front end. I could click buttons, I can add stuff to the screen, but there is stuff happening on the back end. So you have a database, and that's where the back end comes in. And I made an account on Miro. So this is my account. I'm the owner, Mike Ferrante. Has to be stored somewhere, because if I now click upgrade and I pay for a new plan, so say I do business, that's $16 a month. My credit card needs to be stored somewhere. My address needs to be stored somewhere. My plan needs to be stored somewhere. There needs to be a place that's central that stores all of the information. And these two things go hand in hand. Your front end is going to pass information to your back end it's going to store the information, and also your back end is going to pass information to your front end. And they go hand in hand. They're very closely related, and this is super important for your app. This is your app basically. So I think there needs to be a lot of human checks within the front end development. So say there's 800 steps for front end, there needs to be a lot of human checks, because as of right now, AI cannot really test features out and let you know if they're working as intended, because even if you ask Claude, like, did you implement this feature? Was it correct? He'll tell you yes. And what I do a lot of the times is I'll paste his solution into GPT, Perplexity, or R1, and I'll ask, was this implemented correctly? And almost 99% of the time they say yes, and almost 99% of the time it's not what you intended. So that's one of the bottlenecks to this is going to need a lot of human, these two steps. These steps I don't think are going to need a lot of human. So not much human, a lot of AI, a lot of human for now, but it still is very, very optimistic for the future, because this stuff by 99% of solopreneurs is getting done by them. So market research, identifying pain points, they're doing all of this. Imagine if you could save your time and take out full autonomy, and you just had to focus on the coding. So that's kind of the vision that I want you guys to think about, and I want the wheels to start turning in your head about the possibilities of this. Like, if you're in this space and you know AI, and you are caught up with the trends, you're on X, you follow a bunch of these accounts, you're consuming this content daily, you have an opportunity to do this. It's just about applying your knowledge to the field. And, knowledge that's not applied is wasted, and it's one of the worst things, because that's going to cause regret. That's going to cause, hopefully not, but depression, and that could just lead to a bunch of negative things that you can easily solve by just applying what you know, because you know a lot of stuff that's extremely valuable that a lot of people just don't know. So after development, you're at launch. You launched your app. You went through all of this. 90% is automated with AI. You're kind of a manager in these steps. You kind of do this. You test, and we get to the point where we could launch. So we launch our product. This is our launch, our big launch. Day 1, we get 0. Day 2, we get 0. Day 5, we get 0. Day 20, we get 0. 3 weeks in, we're at 0 monthly recurring revenue. And we're asking ourselves, I thought this was the best idea. Why do we make 0? This sucks. I hate SaaS. Hold on. We haven't covered everything. We don't have a sales process. We don't have a marketing plan. And we don't have customer support built in. So when Jimmy went on our site a week in and he wanted to purchase, he couldn't, because our product page was broken. And we didn't know this. So this is where these 3 agents come in, and they are so important to the whole process. And without these 3 agents, the business is going to fail. And as of right now, we do this ourselves mostly. I know there's tools that will help you with your marketing, like Perplexity is very good for marketing with ideas and stuff, but we still have to manually prompt Perplexity. So I kind of went into this a little before, but just diving in very briefly, we have a sales agent who, as of right now, I would just say is an email outreach type person. So emailing news outlets, emailing startup blogs, everything just about the product, trying to get it out there. posting on Twitter, which goes into marketing, which would be, like I said, posting on Twitter, ad campaigns. Are we going to do Facebook ads? Are we going to do Google ads? Are we going to do TikTok ads? Are we going to do Pinterest ads? Who knows what the next big social media will be as well. And then we have our customer support, which the example I gave before was a chatbot. So these 3 agents after launch are super important, and they need to be implemented immediately. We can't wait, because that's when our app stops with the traction. One of the most important things in this world is traction. Once you get traction, once you get confidence, you're going to keep going and keep outputting daily, weekly, monthly, and then by the time you get 6 months down the line, you've been working hard every day, and stuff is going to add up, and it's going to multiply. So right when we launch, even before launch, we have to be thinking about these 3 things, and we have to have strategies in place to implement these 3 things. So that's where these agents will come in. They'll have flows. They'll know they have to create a marketing plan. They have to come up with a way to distribute content, to create content, come up with content, all of that stuff. Sales, we need a simple email process. We need leads that we can email. We need it to be automatic. Customer support, we need a chatbot. The chatbot needs to know specific things about our business. The chatbot needs to be able to handle customer queries. The chatbot needs to be able to flag whether or not the question that they were asked they know about, and then they can email us about it. So once all of this stuff is done, you will have a successful application, and it's possible you have $1 billion company. And the best part about this is your output is 100x what someone doing it by themselves is. If you can do this daily, you can hypothetically launch a SaaS each day. With the way front end and back end is, it's going to be a little harder for that, because you would have to code for a long time throughout the day. But my point is, 5-10 years down the line, I believe it will be possible to create an application a day and launch an application a day if you really have these processes refined, dialed in, and tuned up to the max. So the result, $1 billion companies will be run with 1 founder and 0 employees. So just going back to my tweet, I know it's a very simple tweet and you may see it and you may not think much of it, but I think this is so powerful, and not enough people are thinking about this. People are trying to get too caught up in the shiny object of, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn that, I'm going to learn this. The thing to learn is learn about these tools and learn how to automate. Automation will bring you generational wealth, and it's not far away. You can start now. Maybe it's not at its full capacity, but you can start now. And you can scale now. And that's all for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I went pretty deep into that and really just showed off my vision of what I think this is going to be and the potential of this industry. And yeah, please check out my Twitter. It is Mike Ferrante with 2 E's at the end. I will be posting daily. I have a series, Road to $1 Million, where I'll be updating you guys on the SaaS that I'm building at the time, and just my journey as an entrepreneur in this space. I love this space. I love everyone in it, and I look forward to just providing value daily to you guys. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.